He's got to get out of here. Silence lands, though. Good gauntlet stun. Quadraball buys him some time. Old School into the gauntlet wall again. He's struggling so much to get where he needs to in this fight, but Queasy is so low. Joseph's going to take him down on the other side. Gabe's winning the fight against DefQ. Quadraball is going to go down. This could be another ace for Cloud9. They're starting to pull away with a huge lead.
Yeah, they definitely are. 6-1. They've taken over a 3,000 gold lead right at the 15-minute mark as well. This Kraken is on the board. Cloud9, no hesitation to start that one up as Old School's going into the lane. Going to force the minions underneath the turret there and then take away the jungle as well, denying any gold he can away from Impunity. He should have enough gold in pocket when he rotates down, finish off that second monocle, and that's where that build really starts to take off.
Round 2 maybe, Solar Storm. It's coming. It's coming across the map right now. Not going to connect, just barely. I like what Queasy's cooking here, though. He's trying to make these plays happen. Cloud9, they do have a Kraken, though. That's going to be big for this next push.
It looked like Cloud9 was even holding the Kraken low enough that it wouldn't kill it. I think it was a little closer than they intended it to be. They held off a couple attacks there, but...
It was like watching the toaster, right? You just think it's not going to pop. You finally turn away, and then it does.
Yeah.
That was what nearly happened. Impunity, though, they got to defend against Kraken push here, though. This is their tournament life on the line here. Third place to the team who wins this series. Cloud9 looking to take a second spot in the top 3 for North America. Impunity looking to save some face here in front of the home crowd. They put on an incredible performance so far, but I'm sure they'd like to do even more. Kraken not falling too quickly here. Impunity needs to do some more work onto that Old School. He's looking very strong right now with this tornado trigger just picked up between fights. Cloud9's trying to make space for Kraken to do the work it needs to. Queasy is getting some good damage in, but look at the fish food. Easily shutting down anything Impunity's trying to make happen. Cloud9 just back away. A very successful push for the North American All-Star team.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, as you just mentioned, Old School did end up going with the tornado trigger over the second monocle. So looking to get more attacks out again. Still does have a high crit rate, does give you that bonus crit damage, and you know, can help you stack that breaking point up very quickly. He does need to get reinfused, however. He has an Aegis built and has you know, you have the core collapse, you'll have the ordain, you'll have the double fearsome shade, you'll have the double gauntlets as well. So it's going to come down to the positioning Cloud9 get in a fight. If Impunity can line these things up correctly, if they can bait the blocks out early with something like the core collapse, then that's going to give a lot more opportunity for DefQ to get a good fearsome shade down, or Courtois to get a good gauntlet down.
Look at Old School, by the way. I love this double reflex block plan he's got going on. When you got double gauntlets, you got to get through. Mine as well. I mean, you got 3 in total that he can actually use for himself. Really strong stuff here. C9 do have good control over the jungle here as well, making sure that Impunity can basically not even leave their base. That's going to be locking down the sentry. Again, late in the game, you want to take these sentries out and make it difficult for the defending team to back away to an objective they control if you're fighting over a Kraken. Old School's got to be a little careful staying on that side of the wall. He's kind of far from his team. But Cloud9 pick up the sentry. They're going to be able to back away safely.
Yeah, they definitely are, as they try again just to take as much gold away from Impunity as they can. Queasy is struggling to get into this clockwork that he needs so desperately, as well as does not have any defense at all. He has not committed into any shielding, any blocks, any armor, and it's really allowed Cloud9 to just get an enormous amount of damage incredibly quickly. Again, if Old School is allowed to get on Queasy, there's no armor. He's going to build these breaking point stacks incredibly quickly, and it makes him that big threat that we've seen him in the past couple games so much sooner.
All right, Kraken's back on the map here, Denominate. Cloud9 has already kicked it off. They did not realize that Impunity had that scout trap in the pit, though. So Impunity knows what's going on. Quadraball is going to pop those boots. They got to make a play happen sometime soon. Fearsome Shade just going to be doing some work on the back line. They're not quite going to be able to... Oh, he gets it! He gets it! Impunity finds the steal. They're still alive in this game. Quadraball, he's going to use that first gauntlet, trying to make some space. DefQ's very low, though. He's turning around, not going to get the kill. Can Queasy get out of here? That would be huge. Impunity Man, that steal was their lifeline in this game.
They have not won the game, but as you mentioned, it was their lifeline. They hold on for a couple more minutes as they try to get a couple of these builds online. We don't have a single block yet for the side of Impunity. No Crucible, no Reflex blocks, and it has allowed Gabe Bizzle to constantly just land fish food
Has
after
the mad
fish food.
scientist gone too far?
He has gone a little too far, and you know, this is something we knew them for in the past, was they use their positioning as their defense, and thus far, with the amount of chase that Cloud9 have, we have the War Treads on Gabe Bizzle, as well as Old School has the Journey Boots. He's able to refresh that cooldown and reactivate those boots several times throughout the fight, get the chase down. He's able to find damage onto Quisi. They have to play so carefully since they're just so vulnerable to everything Cloud9 has.
They really are, but as you can see, they have the ability still to make things happen. They've just got to find the windows of opportunity. Clockwork now finished for Quisi. So, I mean, once he sells the flask and he gets a reflex block, maybe that's all it takes. He has a lot of damage. He's got a lot of damage in these fights. Cloud9, they're looking to take another sentry here. I think this is the last one as well. So it does mean that it's going to be very hard for Impunity to play safely in their side of the jungle, especially if Gabe gets some more scout traps down.
Yeah, Solar Storm was fired off by Quisi, but unfortunately is going to just thread the needle between the players of Cloud9. And it's going to be down, you know, for another 20 seconds now, and the Kraken should be up here pretty soon. But Cloud9, I think they're just looking to force a sneaky little fight here and try to just end the game off of one push. 21 minutes in, these death timers are getting long. If they're able to find an ace, this crit build on the Vox, as well as Joseph with 2 Shatter Glasses on this pedal, will be able to chop down these turrets in no time.
All right, Crystalline Fusion refreshed for Quisi. Honestly, Impunity need every bit of help they can get for this next fight. If these last ones have been anything to go by, I like picking up an Infusion, but I'm not sure I like it over picking up a Reflex block.
Gabe has been spotted out here.
Yeah, Gabe is going to back away probably. Oh, he's going to clear up some scout traps. I like that. Mine as well. It's pretty hard for Impunity to pull the trigger here. You're going to have to invest a gauntlet or two if you want to catch Gabe, and little do Impunity know C9 are trying to play some bait strategies here with the rest of the team just below that wall. Impunity, they've got to be careful. They need to not fall for this.
DefQ's finally completed the Broken Myth and is actually appears working into a contraption as well.
Wow.
So trying to make sure they can keep some vision control and not get jumped by Cloud9, because we know what's going to happen if they do, knowing the last couple fights. 7-1 Cloud9. And they're hanging on. They're doing everything they can at this point. Again, as you mentioned earlier, this could be their last opportunity. They pull it off. They're sitting pretty far behind, but we're getting to the point in the game that the gold doesn't matter too drastically. Contraption now complete for DefQ. Still not a single block, though, and that's scary to me considering how accurate Gabe Bizzle has been with the fish food.
Quisi's close, though, about 200 gold away now for picking up a reflex block. So with C9 actually giving up ground in the enemy jungle here, it is allowing Quisi to get some camps in, accelerate that one, especially with Kraken on the map. Kind of needs to happen. By the way, that scout trap by Kraken coming in from Impunity was the same one from the last Kraken. So C9 not necessarily doing their due diligence in clearing the area is going to maybe give a window of opportunity here for Impunity to make something happen, but Cloud9 have begun to try and take this objective one more time.
And they're on their way down, though.
Yeah, Cloud9, they're doing some good damage here. Kraken's falling quite low. Look at Old School off on the sidelines, thinking about going for some kind of pincer play. DefQ making his way all the way around. I think, yeah, he moved by the minions. So Cloud9 know what's up. They know DefQ's making that position, and they don't feel comfortable fighting. This is interesting. Cloud9, I'm surprised they're actually so afraid of DefQ coming in from the side when they could maybe just go and hard engage on the other two members.
I think it's because they know that literally everything is up and ready to go for the side of Impunity. And if they're able to land that amount of crowd control, there is a real world where this 4-item Celeste that just had an infusion run out, unfortunately, could set up a good play against them. But now this Kraken, can we steal? Steal?
That's Cloud9 actually going for the engage. One gauntlet already used. Good fearsome shade buys a lot of time. Old School actually taking some poke from that exchange as well. Impunity very healthy. They've got another gauntlet if they want to go back in. Kraken has not been unleashed here, which means it is still quite wounded. DefQ doesn't want to keep it that way, though. Not taking the opportunity to re-aggro it. I think that's smart from Impunity. It's very risky to go for anything Queasy is not going.
Queasy, they're starting up the Kraken.
They are all, I got respect for this. To be honest, I got respect for it. What's Cloud9 doing? They don't expect Impunity to go for it. Fearsome Shade making space. What is happening right now? What is going on?
Queasy going into a full blue build was able to take that Kraken so incredibly quickly. And now Cloud9, just like that, they have to retreat. They're not in the position to take a fight. They weren't in a position that they could steal away that Kraken. It goes over freely to Impunity, and now with a renewed infusion and an extra crystal bit, can Queasy find the damage he needs to bring down Old School and close this game out? Only 3 turrets between Impunity and a victory. A Celeste way more than capable of doing so.
Impunity isn't even taking the risk of pushing with the Kraken that they just got for free. This game has become so slow because these teams really don't want to take any unnecessary risks. Look at this, just firing off. Who cares? Who needs cooldowns? It's going to be another 45 seconds before I even see the enemy team anyway.
Yeah, adding a little bit of additional damage onto that turret, trying to make sure that the Kraken gets one before it drops. I don't think it's going to happen, but
anyway. Close. Oh,
close. Close. No, not quite though, but you know, we now have a heavy prism built on Queasy as well. Still, no Crucible either. We still have no blocks. All it's going to take is one fight from Cloud9 where they can get a good stun onto Queasy, and Old School should be able to close things out pretty easily.
I mean, there's also a silence that you have to contend with coming out of Cloud9, and against someone like Celeste who needs to spam a lot of abilities, that's actually pretty impactful too. This is an interesting decision. If it pans out, I'm going to have to relearn Vainglory, I think. We got 3 Crucibles on Cloud9. They're picking up the slack here.
Well, they have to build 3 Crucibles, as well as we look at Joseph and Old School. They also have the Aegis as well, because there's so much crowd control they know they have to deal with. And Impunity have gotten turrets taken down, but it hasn't been off the back of fights. It's been off the back of unfortunate rotations for Cloud9. For example, the first turret was made when Cloud9 recalled the shop. Celeste came up, and Old School wasn't able to hold things off. And that's something Impunity has done very, very good at. They recognize that Cloud9 is out of position, and they capitalize objectively every chance they get to do so. Oh!
Solo Storm not going to land. Gabe Bizzle wants to set up a play. Fish food only on to Quatervoy. You can see he's going to use that first gauntlet, trying to make some space for his team. Queasy's doing a good job of kiting backwards, but Water Wall keeping Old School so healthy. Look at that gauntlet. Just allows the recall to come in from DefQ. That was the primary purpose of that. Now Quatervoy is way out of position. He needs to get a Vanguard in. He's going to get Man, that was close.
What a play coming out of Impunity there. Quatervoy makes it out alive with the miracle Vanguard over the wall.
Look at the cooldowns, though. I mean, C9 really did not burn that much in order to make Impunity burn a lot. We've got Kraken back on that. Gabe Bizzle's caught out, though. This is bad for Cloud9. Look at the damage. Solar Storm is going to come through. Water Wall, you don't want to burn that one on your captain. Cloud9, they just got burned the same way Impunity did moments ago. Neither team has much left in the chamber.
Now, Gabe Bizzle has a fountain and he has a Water Wall, but he's going to have to recall all the way to base to top his health off. And now him and Old School are working their way over. Impunity, they're dancing around the Kraken pit here, but Joseph doing a good job of just keeping his presence, and that's keeping Impunity on their toes. They don't want to take the Kraken. They don't want to risk a steal.
Gabe does get stunned up by another Ordained. DefQ's doing a good job of finding some assistance for Queasy to get poke damage in. Cloud9, though, they're not any unnecessary risks. They're not going too far. DefQ getting stunned up there as well. Queasy, what is this last item going to be? Just a Shatter Glass, do we think?
Probably going to be either a Shatter Glass, maybe go into the Spellfire.
Ooh, that could be
we'll have to see. I mean, Celeste is all about the poke. With the amount of crystal damage that he has under his belt right now, we have the Dragon's Eye, we have the Eve of Harvest, Broken Myth, and the Clockwork. There is a real world where the amount of poke that Celeste is able to put out could add that ticking damage over time. It's possible.
It's a world I'd like to live in.
We're in a 5-item Celeste world right now. I'd love to see it here.
All right, well, Queasy is getting close to being able to afford pretty much anything on top of that heavy prism, but no control over the jungle makes it very difficult to go do that safely. and they have to go clear waves as well. So finding a window to shop without losing Kraken, not actually very easy for Impunity right now.
Not when Cloud9 have control.
Oh, Quadevois gonna have to pop. That gauntlet is great. It just lands on the old school. Fearsome Shade finds 3 as well. The ultimate's being burned very defensively, but very effectively from Impunity. They're certainly making plays. Frostburn, okay, interesting, but we do have Cloud9 beginning to take this crack, and look at how far away DefQ is. Quisi's pretty far also. That's a Solar Storm. It would need to do a lot more damage to make that one happen, but everyone on C9 pretty chunked out. They're slow at taking this Kraken in the late game. I would actually, yeah, Impunity, they're going to go ahead and keep this aggro. They want this fight for the first time in quite some time. Impunity being incredibly proactive, even using Ordain for damage on the Kraken. Old School is being very threatening with his positioning here. Keep in mind, Solar Storm back up in 4 seconds. That does mean that it will be available for the fight. Old School wants to flank Quisi. He's trying to split up a little bit here. They need DefQ to get back in the fight. Oh, the fish food! Where was your reflex block, Quisi? No, Impunity! They have been routed. C9 are looking for more. Another fish food, DefQ. He's got to get out of here. Dodges the second one, though. Quadevois, I don't see him escaping with his life. That was huge for Cloud9. Impunity, they just got absolutely annihilated in one fell swoop.
How many times did we have to sit here, AJ, and say all it's going to take is for one good stun coming out of Gabe Bizzle? DefQ trying everything here. Has forced Cloud9 off. The aggro has reset on the Kraken. There is that. But it's only a matter of time. I mean, he can't come down and contest it by himself.
I mean, Impunity at this point, they've got to defend against Kraken. That's not going to be easy, okay? Is it possible, though, is the question. I think it is possible, right? It's still this game is still live.
It's definitely a real scenario. They have a Celeste. They have the just artillery in their belt that they can bring down on this Kraken. It doesn't walk out of the way of Heliogenesis. It just kind of sits there and lets you do whatever you want to it, especially once it gets onto the turret, and that makes it very easy for Celeste to make short work of its health. But Cloud9 coming as well. Solar Storm burned 30 seconds before that's ready. I would have liked to see it used more for trying to finish off a low health enemy, and now Cloud9, they're all healthy, marching into the base.
Good double stun coming out from Gabe Bizzle. That is not on a long cooldown at all right now. Quadevois going to burn that gauntlet, trying to keep Old School away from the turrets of Impunity. A second one comes through. Joseph's on the outside, though. Quisi, he's got to do the damage. He is finding somebody. Again, a stun lands. Gabe just keeps them coming. Joseph, he's on the back line, trying to distract Quisi from the Kraken. He's taken very low, though, right now. Quisi should be able to pick up that kill. Oh, Joseph, he does go down. The Kraken is still pretty healthy. The Vein Crystal is falling. Impunity, the pride of Singapore. They can't quite do it. Cloud9 are your third place team at the 2017 World Championship.
What an amazing Game 3 to close out today. Impunity, you guys played so incredibly well throughout the entire tournament. I think initially made it farther than a lot of people would have thought, considering the bracket and the challenge they had to get here. So overall, I think both of these teams played amazing, well-deserved, and I can't wait to see them, swinging into Vainglory 2018 as well.
Man, incredible stuff there from Cloud9. They looked very dominant at times in this series. Impunity had a great showing, though, this tournament, doing Singapore proud, absolutely. And I can't wait, as you said, to see them moving into next year. We saw how much each region grew at the end of 2016, moving into 2017. I can only imagine that will continue, although we do have some great gameplay coming up later on with the grand finals of the World Championship. You see Cloud9 looking pretty relieved after that win. Interesting stuff out of Quadevois at the end there as well. He's calling builds for his team a lot of the time. No reflex blocks. It was bold. I like how bold it was. Didn't quite pan out, though.
It did work for a long time. Just in the end, wasn't able to bring it together. And there they are, the third place team here at Vainglory Worlds 2017. Cloud9 looking happy off the back of that win as well. And again, what a crazy series that was, that last game. It was so back and forth as far as the fights went. And I was just speechless. Yeah. I was just crazy.
It was really incredible stuff. I think, you know, for a lot of people after seeing that game, I'm worried we're not going to see too many reflex blocks on solo queue. I got to be honest. I'm scared now. I don't know if I want to queue up anytime soon.
I do dislike that about competitive Vainglory. Everybody thinks they can be the Queasy. Everyone wants to come through now with this 5
You've got to be a god
last.
to make those plays happen.
It's all about positioning, and as long as that game went, that's exactly what it shows. They were able to maintain control of the fights. They were able to maintain the zoning coming out of the Celeste, as well as the good fearsome shades and gauntlets coming out of his teammates as well. It was really entertaining to watch. They were able to chunk that Kraken down incredibly quickly. I do agree with you. It was questionable that they maybe didn't pursue the Kraken and try to use that range of Celeste to their advantage. But, you know, playing the cautious game, it was game 3. You're up against Cloud9. You've been on the ropes for a majority of the game.
It's tough to make that call.
It is. It very much is.
You know, one thing I think we can't give enough credit to, right, is Gabe Bizzle in that game. Those fish foods were absolutely incredible. He was landing so many of them, and late in the game, the cooldowns were so low that you couldn't really dodge one and then move too far to expect to dodge the next one. They were just going to keep coming. Really, really strong stuff. I think strategically as well, tactically, the drafts were very strong out of Cloud9. I'm excited to see, you know, what sort of drafts we have later on in our finals. Maybe looking at this, Lorelei is a higher priority than I would have necessarily placed her at, just heading into day number 4.
Yeah, she's very strong, and you know, it all came down to that one particular last fight. We mentioned it. It's only going to take one good stun out of Gabe Bizzle. Yeah. He found it. Celeste on the front line, separated from her team, and that was it.
All right, well, we've got an interview on stage with Riku, so let's hear some words from our winning team.
Thank you very much, casters. We're here right now with Ian, manager of Cloud9. That was a really back and forth matchup, but it still ended up in a 3-0. What was your game plan coming into this series against Impunity?
We had scrimmed Impunity quite a bit this week, and we found out that they were really quick learners and that they were very mechanically gifted. So we realized that if we were going to win, it was going to come down to the draft.
Exactly, and you guys really won that so hard. It was a very tough match, but again, 3-0. But I would like to ask about the achievements that your team has achieved throughout the year. And now that you're top 3, what does this mean to you?
It's just, at the base, it's very a huge honor to be here at Worlds in the first place, and to finish in the top 3 in the world, it's amazing. It's just so humbling.
And I can really feel the emotion here from everybody as well in the audience. But now, speaking of the audience, I want to ask, what message do you have for the fans of Cloud9 around the world, even here from Singapore?
Just absolutely thank you. Thank you for being with us all year. Thank you for being with us in London.
And there you have it. Once again, Cloud9. All right, I'm going to send it back to the desk. Take it away, Munchables.
0 in that series in the end. There were some incredibly tense moments. That was over a 30-minute game in the end. Both teams trying their hardest to finish things out. In the end, though, Cloud9 managing to best their opponents. Honestly, the orchestration in that last team fight, being able to split Impunity up, was just beautiful coming out from Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful from Cloud9, but also a mistake from... Yeah, my issue with Impunity was that they didn't play to their range advantage. They have a Celeste who has such a longer range than both the Vox and the Petal that they were trying to get on top of her. And they have so many peeling tools. They have so many protection tools with multiple fearsome shades, multiple gauntlets, the Vanguard. So Impunity, had they played better to their win conditions in the late game, I feel like they could have easily taken this series to a game 4. Unfortunately, though, they did fall short.
And Cloud9 did a really good optimization to counter a lot of that CC, because Old School had a Crucible, Gabe had a Crucible, Old School had an Aegis. I mean, they completely counter against the Impunity lineup, And then Celeste had no one had Crucible, no one had Reflex Block. Gabe had 1800 plus bonus health. His fish food stun, and he landed it so many times, was over a second long. So as soon as he lands a stun, which we saw in the very last fight, Joseph is on Celeste. He lands a stun, and Celeste is dead.
And you know what? You keep on talking about how great Gabe Vizzle was in this series, and I think he is well deserving of the Razer MVP of this series award. He is definitely going to be the standout player for Cloud9 going into that series. Obviously, Joseph as well, honorable mention. He dominated in game number 2. But Gabe Vizzle, just consistent play across the board, and his Lorelei is something to be marveled.
Yeah, I mean, the Lorelei coming out in this tournament, we expected to see teams playing it. We didn't know just how strong it was going to be, and Gabe Vizzle has been one of the few players that has really exemplified just how much of a game changer that she is.
Yeah, I love what he does. So he puts the splashdown on an enemy team, and then you want to engage. As soon as your team gets on the splashdown, they get the movement speed, and then the fish food is a range 9 when it's maxed. And he lands those stuns so quickly because when Lorelei's on the fish food, on her splashdown, it enhances the fish food and makes the stun clap faster.
It activates it almost immediately. There's no opportunity at all to dodge it unless you reflex block it. If you're anticipating it, you're not going to get out of it. Gabe really understands this very high skill cap hero very, very well. What's even more impressive is his laning phase with her because, like you said, he puts down his B ability so that he can trade and then landing the stuns multiple times in a row. So he just understands the hero in and out.
Take a look at the damage done in that game as well. How close that is between the two teams, especially the junglers coming out almost exactly the same amount of damage done.
Yeah, and it just goes to show how close this series was. Even though it was a 3-0, Impunity felt like they were at least had a chance in all 3 of these games. They put up a great fight against Cloud9, and going home as 4th place is nothing to scoff at.
Absolutely not. All 4 of both of these teams are going to be finishing the tournament in the top 4 positions. They are in the top 4 best teams in the world. Everybody can go home with their heads held high. And Cloud9, they're going to be able to walk away with 3rd place as well. So a nice little extra chunk of change for them. So gentlemen, as we round out this series, do you have any final thoughts, final takeaways from what we've just seen here on the stage?
I mean, Cloud9, they just had a fantastic year of Vainglory. Started all the way back in spring. They won that unified, or they won that season. Then summer won it as well. Made it all the way to the World Championships and coming out 3rd. So incredible team that was put together at the beginning of the year. Definitely surpassed all expectations, and just beautiful Vainglory that we saw from them every single time they played on the stage.
And my biggest takeaway is got to be Impunity and just how strong they looked coming into this World Championship. No one would have expected that they could have made it into the top 4, let alone put up a fight against Cloud9. You ask before the tournament, and that is a whitewashed series, and instead Impunity put up a fantastic fight. Cannot wait to see what this team does in 5v5.
Yeah, my takeaway is Southeast Asia is a rising giant. Impunity and also Renegades we're going to see later, they're both like almost equal, I would say, and Southeast Asia has a lot going. Impunity set a record for Southeast Asia, and I'm excited to see what the next year and beyond will look like.
Absolutely. Cloud9 have had a fantastic year. Southeast Asia has had a fantastic performance here at the World Championship, and with that, it's going to be the end of our series. Cloud9 taking that one 3-0 in the end. Now, before we move on with the day, I do just want to give a quick shout out to Google Play. They've helped us run everything here at the event, and we're going to be giving some stuff away from them as well. If you guys are low on ice, don't forget Google Play cards are a great way to get in-game loot and such like, and also a fantastic Christmas present, and it's just around the corner, so make sure to get thinking about those presents for your friends. I'm going to pass it over to Dan Gaskin, who's somewhere in the audience with some Google Play cards.
Thank you very much, Munchables. What an incredible 3rd place game that was, and wha-bam! I have some Google Play gift cards for you guys in the audience. Of course, you can grab them at home as well, but the lucky people here are going to do some trivia. And as we have something very exciting coming up soon, I'm going to base this on the 5v5. Who in the crowd is excited for 5v5? A lot of excited people. Right, so I'm going to be asking some questions about 5v5. If you get it right, you get one of these gift cards. I want someone to put their hands up, don't shout it out because it'll ruin it, if you know the new name of the map in 5v5. Hands up. Okay, I see a hand very close, so that's good. That means I don't have to walk very far. You're nervous now because you might get this wrong. All right, okay. What is the new name of the map in 5v5 Vainglory? First, is that a fluff? You don't know?
I really don't know.
I'll give you an easier question then. Who are the two teams in the grand final of the World Championships?
Oh, that one easy.
That's not even easy. All right, we're moving. You think? Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Final. Okay.
Okay. Tribe and Ace Gaming.
That is correct. Round of applause for this man. There you go. You get one. Right. Does anyone know the name of the map in 5v5? Put your hands up. All right, this guy at the front, he thinks he knows. Drum roll, please. Oh yeah, mate. Right, he failed. He was terrible. Can you name the 5v5 map in Vainglory?
I can't say it well, but is it Sovereign's Rice?
That is correct. Good sir. There you go. Have a good play. Gift card. 5v5 is going to be absolutely incredible. And of course, we've got that coming up on the stream very shortly. But before we do that, let's go back to the desk with Munchables.
Thank you very much, Dan. You're absolutely right. It is Sovereign's Rise, and I cannot wait in a few minutes to unveil that map for everyone. It's all on the line. But before we get on into 5v5, I know you're all itching to get on into it. I do want to remind you guys that here today, everybody that is going to be watching the stream, everybody here in the arena as well, are going to be getting the Championship Catherine skin free of charge. This is your only opportunity to get it for free. So if you have any friends that aren't watching right now, if you have anyone that you know that needs to get in this stream right now, tell them to get on Vainglory, click the link to get on the stream, and they are going to get that Championship Catherine skin free of charge. So make sure to get everybody involved. But it is almost time to head on into our 5v5 unveiling. We are going to be heading into a very short break, but when we return, we will be doing the grand unveiling of Vainglory 5v5.